I'm going to walk you through the exit slip and independent exploration that my students were required to do for the social studies lesson. So I provided them with this timeline of Jackie Robinson's life, and they were required to answer these 5 questions. The 5 questions are: who is this timeline about? What sport did Jackie play? In what year did Jackie start playing for the Dodgers? How many years did Jackie play for the Dodgers? And what do timelines tell you? So students on their own were required to do this. Some students, as mentioned in the lesson plan, did require some additional help and guidance. I will note that question number 4 was a little difficult for students, and I created this question as a challenge for them because we were learning about subtracting years in math, and I wanted to see kind of who could do it. It was supposed to be a challenge question, and it definitely can be reflective when I show you my students' work. It should also be mentioned that I chose to do Jackie Robinson and this timeline as a lead up to what we were going to do in our later social studies lessons in regard to Derek Jeter. For the month of February, for Black History Month, each grade and class was assigned an influential African American topic and African American person. And 2nd grade, which is the grade I taught this in, was assigned sports, and we did Derek Jeter. So I thought that this Jackie Robinson timeline would be a really great lead up into Derek Jeter and who he is. So this is one of my first student examples, and as you can see, this student answered almost every single question correctly, except question number 4, which, as I mentioned, would be difficult for them. I will also note that this student in particular did receive pull-out intervention services for math. So I did write an example of what they were supposed to do over here. It was also really interesting to look at my students' work and see everyone's answers for number 5. I really focused on this to see if they did understand the concept of timelines and if I should review it further. So the student said, timelines tell you about people's life. This student, similarly to the last, receives pull-out math services and also did answer this question wrong, but was very, very close, was only 1 off. They also did not spell baseball right, and I made sure to talk with them after seeing this, and I let them know that they should look in the text for the words. They also said that timelines tell you about the years. The student answered every question correct and said that timelines tell you about someone, which is a really great answer. This student also answered every single question correct, and they had a really great answer for what do timelines tell you. They said something important that happened in a certain year, which is a really advanced answer. And then lastly, we have this student who I was really impressed with because they are one of my students who receive a lot of additional guidance and help as they do have an IEP. But even with their guidance, they ended up getting all the questions correct, and part of their IEP goal was to guide them, but have them find the answer themselves. So I know that most of this is done completely on her own, which is really great. And their answer, what do timelines tell you about a life? And I was really impressed with all of these, and this helped me to know that my students would be ready to move on to our next timeline lesson, which occurred in the next week.